Ukraine's war effort is at a critical turning point after an explosive meeting between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. What was supposed to be a moment to solidify continued support quickly turned into a diplomatic disaster. Trump accused Zelensky of dragging America into a war it couldn't afford, while Zelensky made a desperate plea for sustained aid. The result? A complete breakdown, with Trump reportedly storming out, calling Ukraine a money pit. With U.S. support now on the chopping block, the question is clear: what happens next? Can Ukraine survive without its most powerful ally, or will Russia seize this moment to deliver a crushing blow? Let's break it all down. The February 28th meeting was supposed to be about negotiations, but it quickly spiraled into an all-out confrontation. Trump, frustrated with what he sees as an endless financial drain, pressed Zelensky to agree to a settlement with Russia. He allegedly told the Ukrainian leader, "We've given you enough. Now you have to figure this out yourself." Zelensky, visibly agitated, pushed back, insisting that any negotiations with Russia without a strong military position would be surrendering his country's future. The conversation reportedly became heated, with Trump repeating his stance that Europe needs to step up, while Zelensky countered that without American support, Ukraine would be left vulnerable to total Russian occupation. When it became clear that neither side would budge, the meeting ended abruptly, with U.S. officials offering no clear commitment to continued aid. Within hours, reports circulated that military shipments to Ukraine were being reviewed and funding approvals were being delayed. The United States has been Ukraine's most significant military and financial backer, providing nearly $70 billion in aid since the war began. That support has supplied advanced weapons systems, intelligence sharing, and financial stability to keep the government running. Without it, Ukraine is facing an immediate crisis. Its military has been relying heavily on US-provided missiles, artillery, and air defense systems to hold the line against Russian advances. If those supplies stop, Ukraine's ability to defend its cities and critical infrastructure will take a major hit. The Patriot missile systems that have intercepted countless Russian barrages may not receive the necessary resupplies, leaving Ukraine open to devastating airstrikes. Beyond the battlefield, the economic impact could be just as crippling. Ukraine's war effort is deeply tied to international financial support, with U.S. assistance helping to keep government operations, salaries, and infrastructure repairs running. Without American funds, the country faces a financial squeeze that could lead to severe economic instability, forcing the government to make drastic cuts just to keep essential services going. Morale is another key issue. The loss of U.S. backing could send a message to soldiers and civilians alike that international support is waning, potentially leading to decreased recruitment and confidence in the war effort. If the perception grows that Ukraine is fighting a losing battle, it could push internal political fractures to the surface, creating an even more dire situation. With America stepping back, all eyes turn to Europe. The European Union, the United Kingdom, and NATO allies have already provided substantial support, totaling around $50 billion. However, replacing the full weight of U.S. assistance won't be easy. European leaders, including German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and French President Emmanuel Macron, have expressed their commitment to Ukraine. But Europe lacks the same stockpiles of advanced weaponry that the U.S. has provided. Military analysts warn that even if European nations significantly ramp up their aid, there could still be logistical delays that leave Ukraine vulnerable in the coming months. The political landscape in Europe is also complicated. While many nations stand firmly with Ukraine, others, like Hungary, have been resistant to continued support. There are also financial constraints. Many European economies are struggling with inflation and economic slowdowns, making it harder to justify increased military spending. The bottom line? Europe may step up, but it won't be able to fully replace what Ukraine is losing from the United States anytime soon. For Vladimir Putin, this could be the moment he's been waiting for. Russia has already been increasing its attacks in eastern Ukraine, and with US support now in question, the Kremlin may see an opportunity to press forward. Intelligence sources suggest that Russian forces have been quietly regrouping, preparing for a spring offensive aimed at recapturing key territories. Without American weapons and financial backing, Ukraine may struggle to hold these positions, potentially leading to a strategic retreat that shifts the momentum of the war in Russia's favor. Moscow has also been watching the diplomatic fallout closely. Russian officials have wasted no time in celebrating the Trump-Zelensky rift, with Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov mocking the situation as proof that Ukraine's Western backers are running out of patience. If US support continues to wane, Russia could push for negotiations under terms that heavily favor the Kremlin, forcing Ukraine into a settlement that would see it cede significant territory. If US support collapses, Ukraine will need to act quickly. One option is to accelerate its reliance on European allies, securing more weapons and financial assistance from NATO nations to make up for lost American aid. However, this will take time and may not fully bridge the gap. Another avenue is domestic defense production. Ukraine has already begun ramping up its own arms manufacturing, but expanding this effort to become fully self-sufficient is a long-term challenge. Diplomatically, Ukraine may have no choice but to consider new negotiations, though any settlement with Russia carries major risks. One wild card in all of this is private military investment. Some analysts have suggested that Ukraine could strike deals with defense contractors and private entities to keep its military well equipped. There are also potential new alliances outside of the West. Nations like Japan and South Korea, which have taken a growing interest in countering authoritarian aggression, could step in with additional financial or military aid. But none of these options are immediate fixes, and time is not on Ukraine's side. The worst-case scenario is clear. Without US support, Ukraine could struggle to sustain its defense, leading to Russian territorial gains and a forced peace settlement on unfavorable terms. In the absolute worst outcome, Ukraine could face an internal collapse, as economic strain and military setbacks create domestic instability. On the other hand, the best-case scenario would see Europe stepping up in a big way, filling the void left by the US and keeping Ukraine in the fight. If Ukraine can hold out long enough and secure alternative support, it may still have a path to victory. But that depends on how quickly its allies can act. The coming months will be decisive for Ukraine's survival. With US aid hanging by a thread, the global balance of power is shifting. Will Ukraine's allies step up, or will Russia capitalize on this moment of uncertainty? What do you think? Is this a turning point in the war? Will Ukraine find new ways to survive? Or is this the beginning of a dangerous downward spiral? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into global events. The world is changing fast. Stay informed with us.